the opportunity was very clear that we could improve what we offered around auto. Instead of having a very simple algorithm that just plotted points for black and gray and white, we wanted to offer something more intelligent. So let me show you what we did in Photoshop CS6 to change auto. Here we have a pretty dark image. I'm shooting into the sun here, and it's great because I've got all the detail in the clouds, but I'm missing a lot of information in the shadows, and it's just not very pleasing to the eye. So a great first step would be to come in here and do an auto adjustment. Now, there has never been auto in brightness contrast, although brightness contrast is a very approachable term. It means something to just about every user, and so it makes sense that we'd put an auto button in there. And if I click auto in brightness contrast, I'm going to see a very dramatic change to my image. I've got plus 88 brightness and minus 49 contrast, and this is an adaptive method. Essentially what we've done is we have hundreds of thousands of images, hundreds of thousands of histograms, and we're comparing your image to images in this database, and we're matching the histograms together to come up with a very pleasing result. And so this is to say that if I were to open 20 images, I would get 20 different results. Now I can take this and tune it a bit if I like. If I want it to be a little more contrast, a little less contrast, a little darker. That's really quick and easy. The other place that we've changed this is in levels. And so if I hit auto, I get a really pleasing result and a really smooth histogram. Now, just to go back in time and show you what used to happen, the problem with the old algorithm is that we were making adjustments per channel. And so this would introduce a color cast. Oftentimes, if you had someone's face, you would see a very different color cast. And as you can see in the histogram here, you would also drop data. This is a pretty decent example. We're not losing a lot, but in some examples, you would drop a ton of information from the image. So if we look at the tooltip here, Analyze Image to do content-aware monochromatic enhancement, that's what's on by default. You get a better result, a cleaner histogram, and no color cast. And the last place we put this is in curves. And I'll be the first to admit that the idea of wrangling a diagonal line to yield a proper exposure is really not a very friendly interface. This can be a very intimidating part of Photoshop, and yet seasoned users know that this is a very powerful way to adjust your image. So we've got that new functionality here as well. If I hit auto, I'm going to get a really nice result. And if you look carefully, we've done something that we didn't do before. We've actually plotted points on the curve here. We've got 4 points, and you can click and drag those and go a little bit further with the result. So we've really realized that a lot of people use this functionality. There was a ton of room for improvement, and so we've offered changes in each of those places. If you haven't tried auto, I definitely encourage you to give it a try. And if you are using it, I think you'll see that there are much better results than there ever have been.